Hi guys, this is my F600 hexcopter that's going on eBay today for a buy it now price of £850. Now what comes for that price tag? Obviously all the photos that are attached to this eBay ads, you can see those. You're getting an FPV system, a monitor, tripod, FPV transmitter, which is a 250 watt milliwatt transmitter. It also comes with a Fat Shark camera, which goes on the top here on this little Velcro pad. You get all the aerials, loads of different cables. You can see all the photos that are on there. Also on the actual machine itself, you've got a heavy duty aluminium frame. It's a cracking piece of kit, really sturdy, not like these composite fibre arms that you get in that can be quite flimsy. This is really strong. Obviously on here at the moment are just some plastic props. However, you are getting a full set of carbon fibre, brand spanking new props, never been used, and they are balanced. Most important whenever you're fitting props on these, that they are balanced. Okay, so you're going to be getting a full set of props as well. It's got a brushless gimbal here, 2-axis brushless gimbal that you can fit on a GoPro onto, and it's also got the GoPro lead here ready for you just to plug into the side, so you can go FPV with that as well if you want to. The motors are all upgraded, not the standard motors that you get. These have all been upgraded, so they're really good quality heavy duty ones. Good way to test a good quality motor is when you turn the prop, if it clicks when you're turning it round, it's a good motor. The ones where it's really smooth, normally you'd expect a really smooth motor to be the one, but these brushless motors, you can feel where the magnet's actually pulling it to the next point, so real good quality motors. It's got the Pilot chip inside, which gives you GPS, so you can actually program a mission into this thing. Flick your switches on here, arm it, and she'll take off, and you can pretty much put that down on the ground and watch this thing go do the mission that you've just set it to. Unlimited waypoints, so really you can put as many points on the map that you want this thing to fly to as you want. The only thing that you're restrained to is obviously your battery, how long the battery will last to the mission that you've actually set it to. It's got an external compass as well, which is just inside there. Once again, that's an upgrade as well. That makes it a lot more accurate, especially when you're coming to things like, well, when you're sending it to your waypoints, it will be more accurate when it gets to its waypoint as to where the positioning is. Also, when you do a return to launch, when it comes back, it'll be more accurate to the point where you armed it from. It's probably got about a metre variance when it comes back into land from the point where it took off from. It's obviously coming with a load of batteries. With all your batteries fully charged, you probably get about 45 minutes of flight time. So you get plenty of good flight time out of there. It's also got a battery sensor on the back here. Your balancing lead from your battery just plugs onto there. What I'll do is I'll quickly show you that working. And what you do, you just get your balancing lead, plug it onto there. And what it does, it'll scroll through the cells in your battery and tell you how much life you've got in there. It'll start with the word all and then tell you the total power, which at the moment this has got 12.3 volts, and then it'll work through the individual cells, telling you the individual level of the battery. Also, when the battery gets down to a low level, so this one's set to 10.5 volts, once it gets down to 10.5, that bleep that you heard there will just constantly go, so when you're flying it around, If you hear that going, you know you need to get it back into land. A good little fail safe there for you. The speed controllers, once again, are not the standard speed controllers. They've been upgraded. The actual landing gear that you can see here, it's not the standard landing gear that you see on most of the hexcopters. I actually made this one myself, because when you're landing, say, in a field or any uneven ground, with the landing skids that you can get, they come out underneath, but they only cover to sort of like that area there. Now if you land on, say, a stone or some uneven grass, what happens is, as it lands, it tips to one side, and especially if you're landing in a little bit of wind and you've got a bit of sideways movement when you're landing, it tips over, and sometimes I have known it to actually break the props. So what I did was took that one off, and I actually made this one. Now the good part about this particular landing gear is no matter how you land, it will always do that, and it will always land and sit square. It will never tip over. If you want to take these off and put a standard landing skid underneath, you can do, but I've always found this to be really, really great. It's never tipped over ever with this particular one on there. It also comes with the radio unit. This has got loads of different bits set into it. By flicking that one at the back there, that's an automatic return to launch. So if you're flying about, you lose orientation, because sometimes when you fly at a good distance away, it's hard to tell which way it's facing, and if you get a little bit confused, flick that button and all of a sudden it'll go to a predetermined height, which I think is 15 meters, which is set into the brain. It'll go up to 15 meters, come back and land where you are. On here you have your 3 settings. Without looking at my piece of paper, I can't remember, that, when all buttons are up, is stabilised mode, which means that you just fly it off the sticks and it'll shoot around all over the place really, really quick, this thing. However, if you flick it down one on that one, it goes into loiter mode, in which case you take it up, and as long as your stick here is central, it will literally just sit at that point there. If the wind blows it slightly, it will come back and sit back at that point there. You could put that down, go have a cup of tea, cup of coffee, whatever, and you come back, and as long as your battery ain't run out, should still be sitting there in that particular point there. By flicking this switch forward and have it in the bottom setting there, you're in mission mode. So whatever program you've programmed into there, that will quite happily go away and do its mission. With the brushless gimbal on the front here, obviously, my GoPro isn't put in there. The GoPro doesn't come with this particular sail. However, as you're flying around and you're twisting, turning, banking up and down, that will keep that camera pointing perfectly forward. So as you turn like that, that camera will sit like that. If you bank up, it will still stay like that. So you get a really good quality, steady picture. Now you can actually bank this thing forward and back just by turning that little button there, backwards and forwards, and it pans down. So if you fly over the top of something, it can pan right down, so you're looking straight down on top of it. Great as well when you're FPV, when you're coming into land, you know, you can fly over the top, pan the camera down, look straight down onto where you're landing, so you can just judge yourself backwards and forwards and get yourself back down to where you want to be. Stunning piece of kit. Range wise, about 1 kilometre. I've never actually taken it that far, never had to need to, but they say that the radio is good for about a mile to a kilometre to a mile. Once again, with this, there's a fail-safe in there. If this loses radio contact with this unit will automatically go into return to launch. So if you're flying and then all of a sudden either your battery dies in your handset or you fly out of range of the handset, this thing will automatically go into return to launch, so it'll come straight back to you. So you've not got no worries about it flying off into the distance. Okay. You can also hook it up to Mission Planner. Once again, this laptop does not come in with the sale. Purely and simply, you're paying for that, and the bag full of goodies, which is over here. Pardon the Iceland bag. Everything I've photographed, I've put into that bag there, just so that I know that I've got everything. That will obviously all be packaged up properly. As I say, you can use Mission Planner. It's a free program that you can download off the internet, and in a minute I'll show you very quickly how to use that. Cracking piece of kit. You get an aerial photograph of where you're flying from. You can zoom right out and you can see halfway around the world using this thing. You can even zoom into Disneyland if you want to. But no, mainly where you're flying, you can come up and you can plot your course where you want it to fly. You can even increase and lower the altitude as it's flying round a mission. So if you've got any trees, you'll be flying along the field, you'll come to some trees, your waypoint, you'll set it so it'll rise and go over the trees, get to another waypoint, come back down to lower ground behind, fly around and go back up, come back down. So it's fully autonomous. Cracking piece of kit. Yeah, so now what we'll do is we'll just show you how to use Mission Planner. It comes with this lead as well. Once again, this is photographed. Okay, and that just plugs into the side of the board. You just basically, you've got some Velcro tabs, and it plugs in round that side into there. You connect up, which we'll show you in a few seconds. Okay. Okay, guys, you're currently looking at Mission Planner, which is, as I say, you can download off the internet for free. Every so often, what we'll do is we'll, oh well, because it's been updated, so you won't be able to see it. When you, if you don't use this for a while, what will happen is when you power it up off your desktop, it will come up like this, and then a little box will come in the centre of the screen here saying updates. Do you wish to update? Yes. Just click the yes on there. It will close down for a little bit. Another screen will come up here, a black screen with loads of coding on there. It will scroll down, and then once it's downloaded all the new information, it will close down. It will come back up, back to your original screen again, and it will now be updated with all the new information. Mission Planner are downloading and upgrading this site all the time. It gives you, when you're on your flight plan screen, it will show you where your home point is. That is basically where you armed your actual machine, and all you have to do is, first of all, we'll quickly plug in this into here, because if you don't plug it in when you try and upload the mission to it, it will tell you that it's not plugged into the machine. So I've plugged that into the side of the machine, and you come up to this top right hand corner here, and you just clicked connect. If it doesn't have a GPS lock, obviously it can't do it. Let's have a look. Has it done it? Yeah, it's done it now. Just getting all its parameters and everything else where it is. Okay, so it's now connected up, and nice and simple. As I say, you've got your home point there, and dead simple. To do a mission, you just click your mouse where you want it to fly. So we've put 4 waypoints into there. So as soon as you take off, you will flick your switches for an automatic mission, and it'll go from here to its first waypoint, stop, turn, go to its next waypoint, stop, turn, go to its next waypoint, stop, turn, back to this waypoint. Now what you can do as well is, if you, on this green bar down the bottom here, at the end there's some little arrows, just click those, and it brings up your waypoint information. You just enlarge that screen slightly so you can see all your information there. Now then, each one of these little circles has, like I say, a little circle going around. Now that's your waypoint radius. Now that is where, when it flies to its next point, it will have a certain measurement that it's looking for to lock on before it will turn and go on to the next one. Now if you notice down here it says waypoint radius and it's got 5. That means that that circle there is equal to 5 meters. It will look for that area and it will turn at any point within that 5 meter radius there before it moves on to the next one. Now what you can do is you can actually increase this waypoint radius to, say, oh, that's a bit big. So if we have a 10 meter default radius, you notice that they have increased in size. Okay, I normally keep it at 5 meters. That's a comfortable waypoint radius for me, I feel. So they've all changed back. Now notice every time I click on here I'm adding another waypoint. If you want to remove your waypoints, just nice and simple, on the X where it says delete here, just delete. Okay, so with the waypoints that we've got set in there, they've got a 5-point waypoint radius. Also your altitude, where this thing is going to fly off the ground. Over here it says default alt. Every time you click on a waypoint, over here it will say alt there, and it will put in the default altitude into there. So that will basically, you'll take it off as soon as you flick it into a mission. It will go to the default altitude, which is 10 meters just here, and it will fly to there at 10 meters, go to there at 10 meters, there at 10 meters, there at 10 meters. So if you want to change that, now you can either change the default altitude, which will change all of these, or you can change them individually. So it'll get to waypoint 1 at 10 meters, and then you could change that to 15 meters, so it'd raise, and then you could change it back down to 10 meters, so it would go to the next way, come back down. That's all preset. Also, in commands, if you click on that twice, it brings up loads of different commands that you can do. My favourite is obviously takeoff and land. So basically, what if I put in waypoint radius 5? Oh, okay. At waypoint radius 5, I would have that to land. Okay. And what I could do also, I could put it to waypoint 1 to take off. Okay. I tend to take off manually. It's much easier, and then just flick it over onto you know, the general waypoints, and then have it come into land at the end. Once again, coming into land, it's sometimes, you know, you may want to land it yourself. So I just have 9 times out of 10 general waypoints, and then just do the takeoff and land myself. You can have it to loiter at one of the waypoints, and it will come up with a time. So you can have it fly to waypoint 2, stay there for a few minutes, and then move on to waypoint 3. You can have it to do a circle if you want to, when it gets to that particular. It's all about what you're programming down here. Really cracking piece of kit. Now, most importantly, once you've set all your bits in, you've set your altitude, your waypoint radius, what you want it to do, its commands, you come over to here to write waypoints and just click. There you go, that quick. That's now loaded that information into the Hex. As soon as you take it to your point of flying, take it off, flick the switch, off she goes. That's your mission done. Really, really that easy, and it is a stunning piece of kit. You get some fantastic aerial shots. Yeah, it really is a stunning piece of kit. I'm selling this because I'm upgrading to a bigger system. So I'm giving you the chance to have some real fun with some top quality piece of kit. Oh, I will be sticking on a video onto the eBay ad. It's of this thing actually doing some filming. So the Hex that you see in the video that I'm actually following around, that's not the one you're bidding on. It's the one that's actually taking the film. That is this one, actually in the flight, and it'll show you as well the gimbal working as it declines and banks left and right, how it keeps that picture nice and straight. But most importantly as well, don't forget at the end just to come over to here once you've finished and press disconnect. Okay, and then that way you can then unplug from the board. Nice and simple. So there you go. Happy bidding. Thank you.